H2K Infosys provides world-class online IT training, staffing, and software testing solutions to customers worldwide. H2K Infosys supports 100% job-oriented training, hands-on project work, cloud test lab, resume preparation and review, mock interviews, robust syllabus. One-time pay, lifetime access to live classes and videos. H2K Infosys has won the trust of thousands of students worldwide. For free demo class, visit h2kinfosys.com.
So yeah, so if you're good with the creation of Salesforce org, so I'll mark it as a complete. Good. And now here first we will discuss environments. What is meant by environment? Where actually we work? What are the different environments in Salesforce we'll be having and all. So in Salesforce, as we all know, the live environment is called as production environment. Okay. So we'll be having live environment. Live, let me word. So we say live environment where nothing but it's a production org. Generally the terminology what we used to call org nothing but organization, production org we'll say. So another is before production. It's called sandbox org. So production, we are by the name we can understand it is the live environment where our code or all the functionalities will be deployed finally there, and from there end users will be using whoever the audience who are using our software, whatever we have built on Salesforce, those end users will be used in the production. Production org. Whereas sandbox is used to build the functionality. So here who are the persons using the sandbox is developers, admins, BA, BSA and QA, like this. So here developers, admins, BSA and QA will have access to sandbox, so that they will log into sandbox and they will write the code or configuration, whatever business is needed, they will do it in sandbox. Once everything is done, QA is completed here in the sandbox, which we call it as UAT, user acceptance testing sandbox. So once everything is good in this UAT sandbox, this from here it will deploy to production. So this is a basic structure how developers or admins, QA or BSA do their job in sandbox, and then they will deploy to production. So just to repeat it again, we have production, there will be a production which is a live environment we call, where our code is deployed. Finally, the goal, we say the task got completed, everything, once our code or our functionality is moved to production. So before production, whatever is there, we will we will work in the sandbox org. Once we are good in the sandbox, I mean to say, once QA said go ahead, no more, it's okay, there are no errors, there are no bugs, we can we get sign off to deploy to production, then we will deploy from UAT to production, which is available for end users. This is a base environment in the Salesforce. And now, what is, production we know, and how a sandbox is created, that is also important. So just to show you, just showing my production arc. So I'm logging using my domain, custom domain. So this is the production arc using Lightning UI. So my default app, landing app is sales. We can design based on the profile and all. So now for me it is a sales. This is the application. You are seeing this application, sales application. Now I want to go to setup screen. If I click on setup, then I will move to setup screens. Setup. So here, so this is the production. Now I want to know what are the sandboxes I have created for this production. Click sandbox here. Click on sandboxes. Here you can see sandboxes available for this production arc. See, there are different types of sandboxes: full copy, partial copy, developer pro, developer. Okay, so 4 different types of sandboxes will be there in any Salesforce production arc. Will be having 4 different sandbox licenses. So we'll clearly discuss what are the differences between these, and why we'll be using, how we'll be creating. Okay. So first thing is, look this full copy sandbox. Okay. Full copy is nothing but it is a exact replica of production. If I refresh a sandbox, or if I create a sandbox with of a full copy type sandbox, it will be created as exact replica of production. Whatever is there, I mean to say exact replica means it will get copied the data, also it will copy the metadata. Metadata means like fields, objects, formula fields, like workflow rules, process builder, whatever we have written, configuration things. So full copy is a replica of production along with the data and metadata. Whatever data is available in production at the time when we initiated refresh, that data will be copied to full copy also once refresh is completed. That is about full copy sandbox. Whereas partial copy sandbox, that's a partial copy. Partial copy means we can select from what data can be copied to the sandbox. Like I need data from accounts and their related objects. So I can select accounts and get data only from that accounts. From that object. Once we refresh the partial copy sandbox, we get data only from accounts or selected objects to the refreshed sandbox. And metadata is same. So whatever is there metadata in production, the same metadata is copied to partial copy sandbox. So now one thing is common here. Whatever the sandbox type, we will be having metadata as common. Once we refresh, the metadata is common, will be available as if similar to production. But it differs. What differs here? Data differs. Full copy will having complete data. Partial copy 5 GB. Developer Pro I think 1 GB, 1 MB. I will give the differences. A list of the, I will give a document for this one, exact differences how it will be. So the main difference is data, amount of data it is going to hold in the sandbox. That is the difference. Metadata is similar. And now, who will be generally using these sandboxes? So as I said earlier, we have something called UAT. So UAT sandbox, I said. So UAT is nothing but this will be every time a full copy If we have a full copy, this mostly we will be go with a full copy sandbox. Why? Because here we are going to have, we will be having data what we are having in production. Unless we have any test records, mostly the data will be similar. So whatever data is there in production, so we will be more confident once we do a final QA in a sandbox which is exact replica of production, because that's how it's going to behave here in production also. It is having a data, it's having metadata, so then it will be similar to production. So UAT will be mostly UAT will be as a full copy, sandbox will be UAT. And whereas when developers or admins are working, yes, they can work in full copy, or they can even work in developer pro, developer, or partial copy. So that once, for example, I being an administrator, if I'm working writing some formula fields or some set of fields, I can write in partial copy, I can create in partial copy, and I will do my own testing. And then once I feel okay, things are good, then we'll have a cycle of deployment. We'll have a certain timelines when we are going to deploy this to production. At that time, before that, I'll create a change set. I'll show what is change set. We'll discuss one by one. I'll create a change set is nothing but it will be having the collection of metadata what we have created, and all those change set will be accumulated to one place which is called full copy, where QA is going to finally QA the functionality. Once we are good in the full copy, it will go to the production. That's how we'll be working. Even it doesn't mean that a developer admin will work on same sandbox. If they have their own sandbox, depends upon how the lead or manager want to design it. That's it. So whatever sandbox it's there, we can work on it, and we can move it to the whatever sandbox we need. We can move between the sandboxes, and we can move from sandbox to production. We will see here deployment settings. I will explain all this. So deployment settings, just to give overview. So here you see it's saying one-way direction, that is from dev to production. Here this again hotfix production sandbox, this is sandbox to production. Here if you see full SB, from production to sandbox, sandbox to production, both two-way. Where there is a break, that means sandbox is no more, or there is no deployment between these two, sandbox to production. Clearly we can understand whether are we going to deploy, the deployment will work or not. There will be some scenarios where we try to create change set and we may not see the destination arc. I mean to say where we want to deploy. So then we have to come here in the deployment settings. Here we will see whether the sandbox is having access to send changes to production or any other sandbox or not. So here we will see that one, and if there is some issues, then we'll edit and we'll provide the connections. I'll explain this again. So this is a simple, the base idea how we write a code or a configuration, whatever admin whatever admin do, whatever developer do, they will do in sandboxes. QA is done, and then it is moved to the live environment production. That is how we deploy changes from sandbox to production. Any queries in this? Okay. So I hope you got some idea between the environments. And let me open a sandbox. I'll show you how a sandbox looks. And this is a sandbox. If you see here, full SB dot sandbox. Whereas for production, the URL is not like that. URL will be different. URL looks like this: lightning.force.com. Whereas here full.sandbox.lightning.force.com. So you'll see sandbox here. Okay, whatever this full SB or whatever, that one also will be visible here. In Sandbox, here you can see whatever you want to create, we can create here. And same thing, change set, deployment, we'll see here deployments, deployment settings. Let me refresh once. Came out. Deployment settings. Here we will see the deployment settings, similarly as if in production. Like this. This one is full SB, full sandbox, and we have two-way between full SB and production. For all this full SB, whatever we are having, it is showing. So dev to full SB, we can deploy changes from staging. It is also a partial copy sandbox. This is so full SB to staging and staging to full SB, two-way is there. And whereas developer sandbox dev 1, from dev 1 to full SB only. I can't move from full SB to dev 1. I can get from dev to full SB. So this is how it got designed. I want to change, click edit. Here you can see allow inbound change sets. If I click this one, I can receive changes. I can receive change sets. That is what this means. I mean to say full SB. Full SB can receive changes. If I say accept outbound, it is not showing whether or not this organization authorized to deploy changes sets to connected organization. So that's what it's saying. Then I have to go to dev 1, there I have to do changes, then I will get this option. Similar way, deployment settings, there I will do changes, I will get option again. We'll discuss this again. We will discuss when the change set topics comes, we will discuss clearly. So let me explain the base sales business, sales process, how Salesforce design. Okay, so if you see here, it's a campaign, lead, contact, account, opportunity. Okay, so just to give a business use case, consider we have our company have launched a project for some product. Maybe iPhone, Apple launched new iPhone, whatever it is, XYZ series. Okay, so new phone, it's an iPhone. Now Apple have to campaign this, I mean advertise this one. So how people know what is iPhone XYZ? We don't know, right? What are the features? We don't know. So now Apple is going to campaign this particular phone model so that people will get to know about this one. So that, so they will do advertisement, whatever means advertisement means. It could be any other means. It could be hoardings, it could be newspaper advertisement, or it could be television, it could be web, Facebook, whatever means are there today, whatever means. So Apple is going to launch some campaign. So that we call here campaign. It's a campaign. In Salesforce, campaign is also an object. Say campaigns. Okay. Now for a product, company will be a business. They will be having a design. Okay, I am launching a product. Now I want to first, after manufacturing completion of the product, once the product is ready to use, then we are going to campaign it, stating in the world that yes, my product is ready. These are the features and all. So that is called campaign. Now what's going to happen in business? So they are